Okay, I am here with a not so bookish, more book adjacent Christmas gift guide. A lot of these gifts that I'm going to share with you are things that I have actually bought for friends and family this year. So if you are my partner, if you are a friend, if you are family, please go away. The rest of you can stay and be nosy and see what I've got and magpie some of the Christmas gift ideas that I've got. Now, when I say book adjacent, some of these links are more tenuous than others because there's just some stuff that I think make really lovely gifts for people, whether they're into books or not. But this is a bookish channel, so I'm stretching a little bit. So what we're going to do, we're going to go from most bookish to least bookish links. So do stay until the end of the video to see how I get on making these tenuous links between some of these gift suggestions and readers. I've watched some really fantastic videos that are giving really great recommendations for those bookish friends in your life, recommending all that good stuff like reading lights and lovely bookmarks and annotating stationery and all of that sort of thing. So I'm not sharing any of that because there's other people doing that absolutely brilliantly. Okay, so to start us off, my first recommendation for a gift this Christmas is a cookbook. This is my absolute favourite Christmas cookbook. This is the Fortnum and Mason Christmas and Other Winter Feasts book, and it is just divine. It's full of really unusual recipes. So you know, sometimes if you're a cookbook person, you tend to see the same kind of things recycled over and over again. But I've just opened this. This is chestnut, almond and rum cake. I've made some of these recipes. There's some really lovely stuff in here. Hot chocolate with salted caramel marshmallows. And there's suggestions here right the way through from, yeah, so it starts at Guy Fawkes and then goes all the way through to New Year and January eating. So this is a really, really lovely, I can recommend this. This is a really, really lovely cookbook. Another one that I would recommend as a really gorgeous gift is Midnight Chicken and Other Recipes Worth Living For by Ella Risbridger. Ella is an author, and whilst this has really delicious recipes in it, and some nice illustrations too, there's also a lot of her writing in here talking about the origins of the recipes, so it's sort of almost verging on memoir. So it's a really lovely book to gift to somebody. The recipe in here that I return to over and over again is Beginner's Chicken Curry for Harry. And it's an absolutely fantastic recipe. It always turns out completely delicious. But the way that the recipe is written is really, really lovely too. So for example, add the tomatoes and the stock, bring to a simmer, then turn the heat down low and clamp on the lid or cover with foil. Done. Open the wine, gather friends, sit on the sofa, getting progressively happier and warmer and drunker, sing. At some point, about an hour later, when the chicken is falling off the bone, take the lid off and let the curry reduce until it is thick and saucy. I mean, how lovely. I can remember making this for the first time and being encouraged to open a bottle of wine. I was like, okay. So this is a really, really lovely book. She has another one too, which I have upstairs. I don't remember the name of it, but both of those would make really, really lovely gifts. But any cookbook, I think, is a real joy to open on Christmas Day. Next, for the book lover in your life, you might want to gift them a bookish jigsaw puzzle. This is one that I picked up in a charity shop. I also have this one, which I haven't done yet. There's a series of these. So this is The World of Dracula, but there are also, there's like a Shakespeare one. I think there's an Austen one. There's a few of these that are themed around a specific author or a specific book. These are really lovely. I'll put a picture here of the one that's kind of on my wish list that I've got my eye on and that I would like next. I think jigsaws are really super presents to gift around Christmas specifically, because people have a bit more time and space to be able to sit down and do something a bit mindful. Also a great activity for the friends in your life who are big audiobook listeners. This is where we start to get a little bit more tenuous. By the way, I'm really sorry about the lighting. It's night time, but the mood took me, and so I'm filming whilst the mood strikes. So I'm sorry about the really awful lighting, but it is night time. Yes, okay, so I said we're moving on to more tenuous bookish links now. So perhaps for that bookish friend who might be interested in going to see a book to screen adaptation, how about a cinema voucher? I'm a really big fan of gifting vouchers, but I like to give specific vouchers. I think, you know, we're living in a time now where people generally have a lot of what they like and what they need, and so gift giving can become a bit tricky. So giving something that you know somebody will use, it's also something that's not going to add to clutter or waste. So yeah, I think gift vouchers, like specific gift vouchers, are really great. So specifically for family this year, I've bought a couple of Nando's vouchers for some people, a cinema voucher for others. Obviously, you know, I don't need to tell you this, but you can buy book vouchers, but something like this where you're gifting a kind of experience or something quite specific, a night out, a date night, something like that, is a really lovely, thoughtful way of giving something quite kind of opaque. Cook do gift vouchers too, which is a really lovely gift for somebody who you know is really busy and perhaps sometimes doesn't have a lot of time to cook really nourishing meals for themselves. Cook vouchers is quite often something I turn to as a maternity gift, but they'd make a really lovely Christmas gift too. So that's gift vouchers, specific gift vouchers. Now, as readers, obviously we want to set the scene, we want to make sure that where we're reading is super cozy, and so you might want to consider buying a festive candle. I go to HomeSense around this time of year every year. I mean, I go there quite a lot because it's a great shop, but specifically at this time of year. So HomeSense is a shop dedicated to the homeware section from TK Maxx, basically, or what's it called, TJ Maxx, I think, in America. So TK Maxx sells everything, clothes and all sorts of stuff, and they have a kind of small homeware section, whereas HomeSense is the whole shop is just home stuff, and it's fantastic because you can get really unusual stuff in there. There's a really good selection of all sorts of things. They do really nice kind of like foodie bits, so if you want to buy someone like really fancy Italian pasta, or there's all sorts in there. Really lovely stationery. But I regularly go in there for candles and diffusers, but specifically at this time of year, because you get stuff that you don't see off the shelf everywhere, and you get really good quality, really decent sized candles at a really, really reasonable rate. So here's some of the ones that I picked up this year. This is called Holiday Cheers, and it's cranberry, plum and apple flavour. And it's got this really cute lid that's got a Christmas spinner on it that says things like put on an ugly sweater and make a paper cut snowflake. So I thought that that would make a really lovely gift. That was £8 and it smells great. This is one that I bought for us. We've been using this at home. Promise, it's been lit. This is frost flavour. Also very delicious. And this is one that I bought for my brother. This is a Santaval candle, which is a really great brand. I've taken the price off it, but it was less than £5, and it's orange and cinnamon flavour, which is super nice, and it's just really pretty. It's black with this star kind of pattern around the outside. But they have a huge selection. They don't just have Christmas candles, but I think obviously now is a really lovely time of year to be buying that kind of thing. But they have a huge selection and they're all really good quality, and every time you go in you're likely to find something different. So it's going to be stuff hopefully that people won't see around everywhere else and won't get duplicates of. Now, many a bookish person is also a lover of tea. Many of my bookish friends are tea drinkers, and so I want to recommend my personal favourite brand of tea, and that is Tenacious Tea, and you'll find them on Etsy. So this is my favourite tea of theirs. It's called In Bloom. Not this one necessarily, but most of their teas are named after some sort of pun to do with music or songs or film or something like that. So they're quite good fun gifts. So this is flavoured with peach and honey. This fruity floral green tea blend is like a spring in a cup, producing a luscious fragrant pale golden infusion. This is liquid nirvana, and I really agree, it's absolutely delicious. So this is one of my faves, but you can also get these smaller packets of tea, and you can get like a pick and mix set. So you can buy, I think you can choose how many you have. It's from between 2 and 10, and you can choose from any of their flavours. And that's what I did at first. I ordered, I think, 5 or 6 different teas and decided which ones that I really liked, and then went back and bought the bigger sizes in the ones that I enjoyed. But also, if like me, you're a contrary fairy and you don't know what you fancy day by day, having these smaller kind of portions, you usually get, I think, about 4 cups out of each pack. So, you know, they're not insignificant. As you can see, these are kind of punny related to songs. So there's Purple Haze and there's Violetly Happy as opposed to Violently Happy. But they're really, really delicious and really unusual. They're tea blends that you don't come across on the shelf every day. So I think they make a really lovely gift. We're also quite into snacking and having reading snacks, right? Am I right? So another gift that I like to get for people at Christmas are some really beautiful festive biscuits. So this is a set that I've got for my mother-in-law this year, but I've got other different ones for different people at different times. Now, if you want to be really bougie, the company Biscuiteers do absolutely stunning iced biscuits like this, but I tend to go to Etsy again and just have a search for iced biscuits or Christmas biscuits and see what designs I fancy. I've bought different ones for different times of the year from lots of different companies, but this specific company is the Royal Biscuit Studio, and these are relatively inexpensive, especially in comparison to the Biscuiteers, but are really lovely to open on Christmas Day. But again, it's not kind of adding to people's clutter. There's something special that you wouldn't necessarily buy for yourself, but can be used and eaten and enjoyed. Okay, bear with me. Sticking with reading snacks, as a reader, you might be a toast lover. Shall I stop? Shall I just stop now? Okay, this is kind of obscure, but I promise you, this is one of the best gifts I have ever been given. It is a gift that you did not know you needed until you got it, and it is a pair of toast tongs. Now, hear me out. Like I say, who needs toast tongs? You just use your fingers, or, you know, if you're living on the edge, you might shove your knife in your toaster. But having these has been life-changing. Use them all the time. They've got a little magnet on the top, so you literally just stick them to your toaster so you don't kind of like lose them. And it means that you're not kind of like burning your fingers on the metal bits around the toaster to pull your toast out. It's dead and amazing, like when there's a little bit of something that's kind of like dropped down. Toast tongs. They're so good. So these are from Lakeland. They're very inexpensive. They were a really random present from my mum a couple of years ago, and it's one of those things that on Christmas morning you opened and you're like, really? But they're so good. They're so good. We use them all the time. They're really, really brilliant. Changed my life. Okay, we are now into the territory of not really related to reading at all, as if we were prior to this. But one of the things that I found and wanted to gift to lots of people and myself this year are Christmas jumpers, specifically from M&S. M&S have done a really gorgeous range of Christmas jumpers this year. I've actually bought the one with dogs on for my partner. I told you, if you're watching, you shouldn't be. I think it's really lovely. They've also got Welsh Christmas jumpers, which I'm loving. They've also got Scotland and England, I think. I'm not sure about Ireland. But they're really, really lovely and a bit unusual. So I'm, yeah, really loving the M&S Christmas jumpers this year. And I think it's this kind of thing that you won't necessarily buy for yourself. So makes a really, really lovely Christmas gift. Another recommendation that I've got for you is a gift that I've both received and sent a couple of times over the last few years, and that's to send a wreath or a Christmas tree or some fresh flowers, some Christmas arrangement. This is a really great way to send a gift to somebody who perhaps lived a bit further away. So Bloom and Wild do a really fantastic selection of either small Christmas trees or wreaths, and they tend to be things that you can sort of put together yourself, but you need zero talent in which to do it. So you kind of like have that sense of feeling like you've been a bit of a florist with no talent needed at all. perfect, but they're really, really lovely. So I had the wreath last year. A few years ago, actually, I will say, a few years ago I was sent a small Christmas tree, and it comes with some lights and some decorations. So I've kept the lights and the decorations. So this tree is from Tesco. So every year I buy a new tree and I just add some of my own decorations and the lights to it, and this goes on our kitchen table. So the nice decorations on here, like the star at the top, and like these pretty baubles that have got little stars in them, and the navy stuff, and the delicate lights, those were all from the Bloom and Wild tree a couple of years ago. So I keep those, and then I buy myself a little tree from Tesco or wherever's selling them. So it's stuff that you can reuse again and again, which is lovely. But like I said, for that person who perhaps lives a bit further away that you want to include and gift give, it's a really nice thing to get through the post, perhaps at this time of year as opposed to closer to Christmas. And the last thing that I want to recommend is absolutely nothing to do with books at all, but it's such a gorgeous gift and I'm so happy with it. I can't not recommend it. This was another Etsy find, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it because it's wrapped so nicely, I don't want to open it. This is a present for my mother-in-law, and it's a bunch of flowers with everybody on the family's birth flower represented. It's absolutely stunning. So around the edges are people's names. I was a bit worried because a lot of our family are Octobers. So I was like, is that going to look a bit crap? But actually she's done it so beautifully and she's evened it out. I'm going to stop holding that out because you can't see it very well, and I'm going to insert some pictures here from her Etsy site. So that's from Summer Lane Studio. Now there are other companies on Etsy doing something similar. I just really liked her style of art and I liked the flowers that she'd assigned to each month, and so that's what I went with. But there are other options available too. But I think my mother-in-law is going to lose her shit over that. She is going to love it. So that's it, my not so bookish gift guide. Thank you so much for watching. Obviously I will make sure that I link everything that I can in the description below. If you do decide to order any of these things, or if it's kind of made you think, oh actually that would be a good idea, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know if this has been useful. And I hope that you're enjoying the Christmas period and that you're enjoying the gift giving. Gift giving is my love language. It's one of my favourite things to do. So this time of year is literally like Christmas for me. I hope that you're enjoying all of the preparation and the festivities in the lead up to Christmas too. Thank you for watching. I'm very grateful to you for being here, and I'll see you again in the next video.